Welcome in, friend, to the Her.Unlocked Podcast. This episode is going to be short and sweet because here's the thing. I have decided to take an intentional pause from the podcast for the next 2 months and come back in the new year. And here's what I will tell you is the decision to pause is purposeful. And there is such power in pausing something. It allows you to have the space to reassess, to recharge, to reignite that passion you have for the thing you're doing. Or it might highlight that this thing no longer aligns with where you're headed. And I don't believe that will be the case with my podcast. And I wanted to create space moving into the last few months of the year to assess, where does the podcast fit into Unlock Her Co., my business, and how can it really support you moving forward? And that is the intention behind my pause. So the intention is to come back even stronger with even more content. And I'm excited to continue to share more client testimonials and to just give you a better understanding of the power of the subconscious work. Because here's the thing, Unlock Her Co. is on a mission to make subconscious reprogramming mainstream. And I believe the Her.Unlocked Podcast is the place that I am going to continue to be able to reach more of you with what this even is for those of you who are newer to the subconscious reprogramming space. And I want you to come with an open heart and an open mind and to be able to have a safe space to learn about something that might feel very unfamiliar to you. It might even feel a little woo-woo to you. And I want my podcast to be that place moving forward, that place where you feel seen and heard and empowered to step into this work a little bit more. I want to serve up techniques through my podcast as well that you can easily tap into. And so, again, there's power in the pause. And I'm choosing to lean in because I was kind of fighting the feeling for a bit because I love turning on the mic. I love talking to you. I love long form content. I love to talk. Those of you who know me well or who've been listening, I love sharing. I love amplifying other women's stories. And I just love continuing to be that space for you to tap into every week that challenges you to continue to lean into your most empowered self, because that's where the good stuff lies. And that's what I want to continue to do moving forward. And what I realized is to do that well, to show up in this space well, it was going to require me to take a pause, to recharge, to think strategically about what I want to do with this podcast moving forward, the types of content, the types of women I want to bring on this podcast. And a lot of times, if we just keep muscling through something, we keep feeling that friction, but we're not willing to stop and pause and assess where that friction is coming from, we'll burn ourselves out. And so this is also an invitation for you to think about, where might it be helpful for you to pause in your life? We're moving into an even fuller season, right? With a lot of holidays, if you're listening in from the United States, and there's just a lot going on these next few months, which means your capacity looks really different, which means it may require you to pause, reassess, and intentionally pause on certain things that you've been doing that you love, with the idea that if you muscle through this season and try to do all the things you love could very well be the things that you start to resent. And so I just encourage you to take that, to sit with that, to ask yourself, what is essential for me to pause in this season so I don't burn out, so I don't feel overwhelmed? What am I going to say no to or not now to so that I can say yes to it potentially later, or say yes to something else that is aligned with the season I'm in? You get to decide. That's the thing. I'm a huge believer, and this is the foundation to the work I do, is that we all are in the driver's seats of our life. And a lot of times we've given that driver's seat away to someone else outside of us. And then we become a victim. And what that's called is living at effect in life. You're being affected by your circumstances, by what's happening around you. Woe is me. I've got all these things I've committed to, the kids stuff, the family stuff, the family dynamics are overwhelming. Fill in the blank of what this season is full with. And the more you stay in effect, the more likely you're going to stay in overwhelm and frustration and resentment, whatever those feelings are for you, leading you to burnout, leading you to not having the energy that you desire in the season, leading you not to have that calm, joyful time of year. You get to decide. And on the other side is choosing to live at cause, which this is an example for me of living at cause. It's like, okay, I'm feeling my schedule's really full. I feel like I'm not giving what I want to be giving to this podcast. Instead of muscling through and continuing to show up and turn the mic on every week, feeling like there was this like feeling of resentment bubbling up towards something I love, I decided to be like, what can I do with that? How can I live at cause? Which at cause is I have the power to make the change. I have the power to make a different decision. We all have the power. It's just most of us have given our power away to other people, to our circumstances. And it's why we feel the way we feel. And so I just encourage you also to take back your power by taking that pause in a purposeful way. This is where the magic happens. This is where change happens with more ease. This is where you feel way more empowered to live a life that's aligned to you, not a life that's aligned to somebody else. And I know that's also something that comes up in the holidays, is that we have a tendency to do a lot of things, commit to a lot of things because we feel like we should, we have to. And I just challenge you on that. Where can you say, no, that's not in alignment for what I want for myself, for my family? It doesn't align with our values. Create margin in this season by saying no, by pausing things so that you have more room to enjoy life, to enjoy your family, to enjoy your career, to enjoy your business. When we jam pack our schedules in our lives, we don't have a lot of breathing room. And that's a recipe for overwhelm. And so in this season where you are adding more and more to your calendar and you feel like your calendar owns you or everything else owns you, I challenge you. Pause. Look at what you've got going on the next 2 months and what can you say no to create that margin? What can you say not now to create that margin? Because you don't want to walk into 2025 feeling frazzled, overwhelmed, like you just muscled through this season. You want to enjoy it. And this is how you do that. And this is an example of how I'm doing it, taking a pause in something I love, saying no to it for now, and bringing it back even stronger in the new year. I'll see you in January, friend. I heart you.